Welcome to the Scoop with Dukes. I'm your host, Philip Dukes, aka Dukes the Scoop. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Dukes the Scoop. And please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. If you have not become a member yet, please go to the description and scroll to the bottom. You'll see a link to become a member and support the channel. Also, uh, look for the link to International Voice. They have some cool coffee mugs. They've got clothing, Christian based company. Go check them out. Really good stuff. All right, so this is an AU scoop, and we got to talk about Coach Freeze's press conference following the loss to Missouri. All right, so there's a lot of people thought Sunday was going to be the day. A lot of people felt as if a loss to Missouri would be the nail in the coffin for the Hugh Freeze era on the Plains. I personally felt like it could happen if the offense sputters and zeros and completely flatlines. Well, you saw some signs of life from the offense. He ran the ball. Jeremiah Cobb with 100 yards rushing. Shout out to him. Cam Coleman with the big game. So you saw some things there that give you hope, but you still did not get the job done. You're close once again. And like I said last week, you cannot spell close without lose. All right. So you add another loss in the L column, 0-4 in the SEC for the third straight year. And now people are really it's at a fever pitch at this point because the goodwill that he garnered from being able to recruit at such a high level only gets you that goodwill early on. Once people got past how bad the recruiting was during the Harsin era, and you realize that recruiting doesn't get you wins, it's a tool to get you wins. People want the wins on the field. And up to this point, those wins have not been provided by the Freeze era. So what we'll do today is we're going to go through his press conference. Got some good notes here from the OG legend, Philip Marshall. That's like my uncle, man. Shout out to Mr. Marshall. That's my partner. We'll talk to we're going to go down old Philip Marshall's. He made quotes on 24/7 Auburn Undercover. Make sure you go check out and subscribe. Shout out to Ronnie. Shout out to Christian. Shout out to Nate, Daoud, and JC. All right, so here's what Coach Freeze had to say about potential personnel changes against Arkansas. We're looking at everything. Well, we've heard that before. All right. But just to be fair, you still have to say that. We're looking at everything. Unfortunately, the first change is at center due to injury. Connor Lou tore his ACL. Terrible blow. This guy had a chance to be a first round pick this year. We'll see what his decision is, but great guy. All right, going back to the quote. Great player. Great player. Coach Freeze says, one of the toughest things about coaching is watching kids go through the way they prepare and work all year long for these 12 opportunities in regular season play. He's an incredible leader. Talking about Kyle Ellis. Is going to be a really good player, but there's nothing like experience. And hated for Connor. He's a really good kid. Okay. End quote. All right. We'll get Kyle ready, of course. And I'm making sure, am I saying his name for Kyle or Kyle? If you know the pronunciation, drop it in the comments. We'll also move Mason Murphy, right tackle, in there to get some reps. Too Tall out at tackle. So looks like Too Tall will be moving to some tackle, may get Mason Murphy some reps at center. We'll try that combination also. Mason is very smart and he's played a little center, but not a lot. Dylan Cinder will be ready to go as well. And then here, Coach Freeze, here we go. Here's a nugget. As well as Jackson Arnold played in the first half, the last two games, you have to start looking at everything. Why did we not have the winning ways and sitting here feeling like we do? We're going to get him and Ashton a lot of reps to see where it goes from there. All right, Ashton Daniels, the guy who threw for, I think, about 4,000 yards at Stanford, played winning football here in the state of Georgia, won the championship at the highest level. Ashton Daniels is who he's talking about. No mention of Deuce Knight. I think this is a huge missed opportunity, but I'm gonna do a separate video for that. But I think this is a huge missed opportunity. You're 0-4 in the SEC. What do you have to lose? All right, so this is Coach Freeze on who is likely to start at quarterback. I would say the expectation is for Jackson Arnold, to start. He led us on 2 scoring drives to start the last 2 games, and hopefully that is what happens in this one also. We'll go day to day, but that's the expectation. All right, guys, so Jackson Arnold is still, as of today, your starting quarterback for Arkansas, and Hugh Freeze is still your coach. That's the combo. On moving on from disappointment. Truthfully, as a coach, I don't know if there's a lot you can do about a drop pass here and there that make a difference, or a missed field goal that makes a huge difference in these games. Listen, we all saw it. We got to get Coach Freeze a PR person. I don't even think he means to say it, and I know it's obvious, right? If Kirby Smart says that, it sounds a little bit different, right? Because you know the winning ways that go along with UGA. When Coach Freeze says it, sometimes it sounds like he's placing the blame. And even with, and this is just a quote, like he had a long, this is an excerpt of the quote. But it's like, dang, man, like he's telling his truth. He's telling his truth, but it's just like the way he says things sometimes can rub people the wrong way. Man. But back to the quote. Keep encouraging and believing in those guys to make the next catch, the next throw. I like that, Coach Freeze. All right, so I got to tell you when you're wrong. I got to tell you when you're right. Keep encouraging and believing in those guys to make the next catch, the next throw. I feel like you could easily just say, hey, there's some plays we left on the field without being specific. We left some plays on the field because we're not really specific about anything else, so you might as well. It's like the times that he picks to be vague and and not specific, they vary. Like the times that he leaves stuff up to interpretation, it's like he picks the wrong times to do that. But I do like the fact that he says you have to keep encouraging. All right, obviously we've got to make the plays that come our way when they are there. Could have left it at that. I think that game's totally different if we do. All right, we get it. And that's why we're sitting here feeling like we are about a team that's played 4 top 15 teams right down to the wire. I mean, it's the truth. 4 top 15 teams you played to the wire. You've been close. You have. Let's talk about Perry Thompson. I'm really proud of him. The guy, truthfully, when he got here, had no idea how to practice. The talent was there. He knew how to run a go route, but he didn't know how to take a release off of anything or what different coverages look like. He wasn't the only one. Malcolm Simmons was that way too. Cam Coleman was to a certain extent. Cam was more prepared, but to see him starting to enjoy the game and having success, that's really what coaching is about. You have to give Marcus and Coach Maurice Harris and Heath, those guys who work with him every single day, a lot of credit. No one was more bothered on the sideline than him after he dropped that one on the second or third possession, and I love to see that. He's getting better and better every single day. Good to see some improvement from Perry Thompson. On Alex McPherson's misses. I believe in Alex McPherson. Great job, Hugh. Great job. Way to start that out. I like that, Hugh. I believe in Alex McPherson. Great. I like how you started that. He believes in himself. That's the first time he's missed any kicks inside the 40-yard line in his career, and he missed 2, and that's just so uncharacteristic of him. He kicked beautifully all week long. He's mentally strong. He's been through a lot and certainly feels the weight of the loss for everybody. Feeling like, man, if I could just make one of those, maybe the game is different. Nobody in here doubts him or has any less belief that he's going to make the next one. Okay, Hugh, I can get with that a little bit. Alex McPherson, for everything he's been through, never missed a kick under 40 yards. I mean, when you put him in so many positions where he's kicked beautifully, as you said, and you haven't been able to capitalize on it, then of course, and when you're an offensive guru, keep the field goal kicker on the sideline, right? That's a part of it. But I love the way he made sure that he let it be known that that was very uncharacteristic and how good of a kicker he really is. On what can be fixed on defense. All right, let's go here. The details. We have to coach harder, demand more of ourselves and of the kids. The answer can't be, I don't know why he ran it ran it right the first quarter and he didn't the third quarter. That's no longer acceptable. Nor is you run inside. Hold on, make sure I'm reading this right. Yeah, I think this might I think it says what can be fixed on defense, but I think they mean offense. All right, so I'm going to assume that this quote is for offense. The details, we have to coach harder, demand more of ourselves and of the kids. The answer can't be, I don't know why he ran it right the first quarter and didn't the third quarter. That's no longer acceptable. Nor is you run inside zone and overtime that we've been averaging, I don't know, 6 yards on the carry, and we get beat inside at a tackle position where the footwork for that, you just don't get beat inside on that play. Let them beat you outside. That's fine. Whether it's the ball has to come out to your second progression, it has to come out and it's there. So turn it loose. We have to demand more. All right. So that's clearly about offense. Um, I wouldn't run into a lot of people felt like maybe you don't run the ball there, but if hindsight being 2020 is easy to make the call now. Um, on freshmen playing key roles on defense. Those freshmen continue to grow, whether it's Blake Woodby, Eric Winters, Malik Autry, Jordan Crawford, Jared Smith, Bryce Melendez, or Xavier Atkins, who technically is still a freshman because he redshirted. That is insane that Xavier Atkins is a freshman. All these young kids that we're going to play over there, the future's bright. We have a lot of good talent. Agreed. That defense, I'm pretty. That's why I was looking when I saw the headline and say he was talking about defense. I wanted to make sure I had that right because I'm like, nah, defense pretty much did what you needed them to do. Here's a quote on the concern. The defense could take a step back as the offense struggles. I don't have any concerns other than that we're facing one of the more talented offenses I've seen. I've watched Arkansas this morning. They're really talented on offense. Taylor Green is playing at an extremely high level, has a good running back, tight ends, receivers, and Bobby does a really good job coaching the offense. Yeah, all right, sure. Now here's the quote that we got to talk about. I'm trying to find it here. On what a statement of support from the AD would mean. Now, this is probably the most honest I've seen Coach Freeze and the most vulnerable I've seen him. And I want to say, you know what, Coach? I appreciated this. I did, Coach. I appreciated the vulnerability, the honesty, and for you just to really put it out there. Because sometimes when we get into coach speak and we can be vague about things and we can leave stuff to interpretation, and the wheels can come off. We saw that last week with the Damari Austin situation. But this time he let it be known. Here's the quote. It would be huge. That would make everyone feel a lot better for sure. I haven't talked to John Cohen. I would say John has been so supportive ever since my hire. I don't get too much into it. They have a job to do, certainly, and he has people he has to answer to. I do know how close we are, and I know I can get this fixed. We're too dang close. We have to get a little better. We have to get a little bit better play and a little bit better coaching at a few spots. I want a chance to fix this. All right. He wants a chance to fix it. It's tough because your chance to fix it was the off season when you picked your quarterback and you tweak the offense. We clearly see the offense is the problem, but he wants a chance to fix it. So this is my thing. This is how now we know when you get into the coaching carousel and coaches at Auburn get on the hot seat, it's always something weird that happens. It's never a clean break. There's always this cloud of confusion. When is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Gus Malzahn, end of the season, after a win, it happened. Everybody was kind of like, Then you have the whole stop steal campaign craziness. Then Brian Harsin, you have pretty much seemed like it was, I ain't gonna say it was a hit put on him, but you have the allegations and the investigations and all of this stuff, and then they finally just can him during the season. Now, it seems like you got pretty much a guy walking the plank, and you don't know when he's going to be asked to jump or forced to jump. I think what Coach Freeze is asking for is at least fair. Like, all right, look, tell these guys that I'm going to be here for the season so they can know that, hey, look, this is what we're up against. I can get full effort. I can get full buy-in, and I can turn this thing around. But it's hard when people feel as if you may not even be here next week. Now, like I said last week, this is a team full of professionals. You see this defense, the defense has gotten 17, 10, 10, and 17 as far as offensive scoring, offensive support. And they're still going out balling. And they're looking for ways to say, you know what? If the offense scores 17, we got to hold them to 16. That's what the defense is doing. You've got players still playing their hearts out. So, yeah, I will say, regardless of the support, that the team will still play. But I do think that will go a long way. But I think it's really telling that he has not garnered a public display of support from the powers that be at Auburn. And now it seems like it's a week-to-week thing. It seems like you really got to go 1-0. It's like, all right, I don't see how the offense now you're going up against one of probably the lowest ranked defenses in the country, definitely in the SEC in Arkansas. If this offense doesn't put up points and the defense finds a way to stymie an offense that nobody's really kind of took it to this year, maybe Notre Dame at the most, but outside of that, if you can't find a way to score points and the defense shows up, I don't see how you make it out of Fayetteville in a loss. You win, I think you're good. I think every week he wins, he keeps the job for another week. I think you go up here and you lose against Arkansas and the defense, and the defense is the best side of the ball again. I don't know if he makes it out. I think maybe if you beat Arkansas, especially if you do it in a convincing fashion, and then I think you get a chance to finish the season. I don't think Auburn has their plan together as far as what they want to do next. And I think that has something to do with it. I think once you get into the point where you identify 4 to 5, candidates possibly, then you start to move in that direction because you know that this isn't the guy. I think Auburn still thinks that Hugh Freeze can be the guy, and that's why they haven't pulled the plug, because they have all the fact that Hugh Freeze even said, I want a chance to fix this, acknowledges that something is wrong. Right? So whether he gets that voter support or not, I think it depends on how they play in Arkansas. I see a world where if Coach Freeze and the Auburn Tigers ball out against Arkansas, maybe they say, hey, he'll be, especially if they do it in convincing fashion, and all of the stuff that all the stuff that's almost worked or maybe you close the gap on close, maybe. But then, as an Auburn fan, and I know a lot of Auburn fans are going to feel this way, would it? Would you feel like that was fool's gold? Because what if you do that and then you go back and you lay an egg against Kentucky, who really just played Texas really closely at home? I mean, you lay an egg against Kentucky at home in Jordan Hare. How do you feel then? So I'm not sure. I think it's a week to week thing, and I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments. Should it be week to week, or should John Cohen give Coach Freeze a vote of support to finish the season strong? Let me know in the comments. That's my time. I'm out.